Hello, hello. So the kids all have half days today, so I have tucked up in the bedroom and brought my seed packets with me so I can talk about what I am starting now, week 9, so 9 weeks out before my last frost date. And I am in Massachusetts, zone 6A, and the predicted last frost date is May 10th. So I kind of add another week to that just in case, because New England, you really just don't know. And so I could say I'm about 8 weeks out, but I'm gonna say I'm about 9 weeks out because I'm adding that extra few days on just to be safe. I'm gonna warm my hands on my coffee because it is 39 degrees outside. And let's take a look at what I'm planting. If I just had to pick one thing for week 9, it would be eggplant. I found that eggplant grew really well for me indoors. It did not get very leggy. It transplanted beautifully. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a go in week 9. I have some varieties that I'm starting now, and then I have a few that aren't here yet that I actually purchased during Baker Creek's fundraising event for the Ukraine, and I just got a ton more eggplant. So I'll be doing things like the ping tong. This was our most successful. I still have this in the freezer. Green curry, amazing. I've got these little guys. I'm not sure I'm gonna plant these again. I'm debating. They weren't great for us. And then I have 2 Asian eggplants. These are some Thai eggplant. I'll try to find pictures and put those up from Johnny's. I did not have success with the big, those big, dark purple, beautiful eggplant. I got 1 or 2, but these Thai eggplants, these long eggplants, they were prolific. I had so many. They're tender. You saute them in oil, add a little salt. I grow them for my green curry dishes, which maybe we'll cook up one of these days together. I also started some arugula. Normally I direct sow arugula, and it just didn't work for me last year. So I am determined I am going to get really good arugula. It's one of our, main foods that we eat for salads, pestos, mixed in as dark greens to other meals, and I don't want to miss out on it again this year. It's really wonderful, just even on a sandwich, just have some arugula on a BLT is delicious. So I'm going to start this. I have it in a little, I think in a strawberry container or something like that. And then I will prick these out and then add them to the modules. And then I'll take those modules and put those out. These are gonna go out fairly soon, and I will take these from the seed modules. I'll take that little tiny bit and plant that into the ground. A lot of herbs can be started right now. This is sweet marjoram. This was wonderful for the pollinators last year. I didn't eat a lot of it, but the bees loved it when it went to flower. Keep starting parsley. I'm just gonna succession plant parsley, just keep planting it every couple of weeks. And then this one I haven't tried yet, garlic chives. They say it's very much like, it's a relative of the standard chive, and it produces beautiful white star-shaped flower clusters that adorn the garden in late August, as well as mild garlic-flavored flattened leaves that can be harvested through the season for cooking and adding to salads or for topping baked potatoes. Perennial in zones 4 to 8. Why not? So I'm gonna give that one a go. I'm gonna start those seeds now. I've already winter sowed artichokes, and I'm also going to be starting them in the house. I'm doing these 3 different kinds, and the one from Baker's Creek says it has a low germination rate. So I'll probably be sowing that pretty heavily. I don't need a lot of all of these. I'm just trying to see which one grows better for me, and then I'll narrow it down to that in the years going forth. They're big plants. They take up a lot of space. I talked about sowing broad beans, fava beans, in toilet paper tubes. I am also going to be trying some peas. This is a dwarf variety, And so I'm gonna be doing this in the toilet paper tubes as well. And then I will be planting these in the same row that I have the broad beans in, because they're not going to get very tall and need trellising. So these will go in a row that do not have a panel to grow up along. I've direct sowed peas, never tried them indoors before. Just trying to see if I can get a jump start on a lot of these foods by germinating them in the house. Okay, flowers, some flowers. Snapdragons, you can keep sewing those inside. I'm gonna do bachelor buttons. This is a black button, a beautiful like dark purple black kind of colored cornflower it's known as too. I'm going to sew some of these now. I have some winter sewed, and I'm gonna sew some maybe around 6 weeks so I can see if I can get a succession of those. Straw flower. I'm gonna get some of those going inside. I think I have 2. So here's another one. And that one's really beautiful. I started some of these hybrid violas. They're antique shades from Johnny's. I just did the whole packet. It says there are 50 in here. My hope would be that I could get these violas in the pots where I have the tulips and have something kind of spilling over. So we'll see. I don't know if the timing is gonna work well on that. Bee balm is something you could start now. And there's so many different kinds. I just thought this was really cool looking. And then asters. I've winter sowed these. I'm also going to be starting some inside. Anything that I just want to make sure that I get some of, I'm starting inside as well as winter sowing, because I don't know what's going to work outside. I don't have enough data yet to tell me what will work. Oh, and here's another straw flower, Scarlet Choice Double. That sounds wonderful. You can continue to sow cabbage and kale, dark greens, Swiss chard. You could get some spinach going. You could get some lettuce going. So a lot of these things are anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks. So I could have started them last week. I can start them this week. I can do them next week. We have a lot of wiggle room here. What I'm trying to do is break it down so that by the time something is ready to be pricked out and put into the seed modules, I will then be able to make that space open up for the germinating table, and I'll be able to put the new seeds that need to germinate on top of that heater that I have under the metal table that I talked about in week 10, and they can germinate really nicely there. So I don't want to overwhelm myself planting too much at once. So I'm just breaking it down little bits by little bits, and then eventually that becomes a garden. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.